Welcome to the first episode of Bridging Blue Devils with Duke Uncut. Um, to start, let's introduce yourselves and we'll get going.
I'll go first.
I'm ready.
You got it.
My name is Olivia Sahaydak. I'm a junior on the field hockey team.
My name's Caitlin Cosme. I am a senior on the Duke women's soccer team.
My name is Myles Jones, men's lacrosse, 2016 graduate.
And I'm Nolan Smith. I'm currently the director of basketball operations and player development, and also Duke grad 2011. So I'm the old man. I'm the old man on this chat. But as a student, former student, I'm excited to be talking with you student athletes. Myles, you getting kind of old now too, brother, just so you know. But this year has been very eye-opening and important year for the student athlete voice more than ever. I've always been a huge advocate since rejoining the staff for our players and all student athletes to use their platforms. So the first thing I just want to discuss is obviously with everything that's been going on, we had a protest on Duke's campus. Just give your insight and just feelings about, how Duke has allowed student athletes to use their platforms to support Black Lives Matter and then just all issues, because all student athletes should voice their opinions on everything that they feel is wrong or right.
Yeah, so I think Duke has gotten better. Have we been great? No. But I definitely think we've taken steps. Shout out to you, Nolan, because you really got the ball rolling during a time where a lot of people in power positions were silent. And I'm glad that we had something like that, because I think that the first thing that you have to do when there is a problem, I think the first step is acknowledging there is a problem. And I think going to school in North Carolina, you have a lot of different athletes from all over the country with a lot of different opinions. But I think something like this really brought everyone together, and I made everyone realize that there is a common goal here, there's a common issue here, and whether you believe in it or not, if you're going to be on an athletic team with members who are directly affected by this, you have a choice. You can either stand with them or you need to stand against them. And I think that's been so important. So I thank you for getting it started and forcing teams and players and coaches and staff to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of going off of what you said, definitely over the past few months, with my team specifically, I've noticed just so much growth and our ability to be vulnerable with each other and have these conversations and truly just support each other in all aspects, no matter where we come from, what we believe, we all are at Duke and we want to play, here, and we're on the same page. So it's really just allowed us to just show our support for each other and be united. And Duke has definitely provided so many just platforms for us, and also just helped us to open up with each other, with the unlimited resources that we have, and really just be able to start conversations among each other, which I really feel has allowed us to grow as a whole.
Myles, did you see or hear about the protest that went on?
Yeah, I saw a lot of it. Obviously, I'm very still closely connected to a lot of players that are playing at Duke now. If you guys don't know, I work for ESPN as well. So a lot of the stuff that I do is very connected to a lot of the, universities and their lacrosse teams. So, I hear about it from all sides. And obviously being a pro athlete now, using my own platform for good and educating myself has been the biggest piece. I think, when I was in your shoes as a college kid, and I had very focus on school, my teammates, and being successful on in the classroom and on the field. Obviously, social life was a big part of college. I think a lot of things that do go on, kind of were swept under the rug, and I was a little bit naive to that. But in the past 3-4 months, it's been each and every day me educating myself on things that have happened in the past, how things got to where they are today. what kind of resources that we have as, people, and especially as college athletes. You guys have a lot more resources that may go, unspoken about, but there are definitely a lot of things that you guys can tap into in order to help you guys, come to a common goal. And I think the quicker we understand that this is, bigger than the individual, and it's an us, goal, and we all have to be together and unify in order to make things happen, the quicker things will happen. For me, I've been using my platform for better good. I've been, kind of allocating a lot of my time to different things. So now, now I'm working with Degree on, donating money to inner city programs where kids were affected by COVID and, don't have the resources to play sports. I'm closely, unified with the Players Coalition, which is the NFL players and former NFL players who, are doing their best to bring change to the world. So there's so many different things that I've started to, put my time and effort towards in order to make a change. And I think that's, it's been a great thing to see, my alma mater and Duke and student athletes like you guys really putting your best foot forward and trying to come together and have these hard conversations, because they are tough. It is tough to step outside your comfort zone and ask about, an individual who may represent a larger group of people, and try to understand where they come from, why they feel the way they feel, why they're hurt by certain instances that have happened in the world. And the more that we can open our ears and open our hearts, open our arms, and understand that, there are people hurting and trying to figure out what's going on in their lives and why their people are affected, I think the better off we'll be. And I think everyone's taking a step in the right direction if you're taking time to, educate yourself and learn more about other cultures and people.
No, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. So one thing I want to ask all of you, the one quote that always got me upset is "shut up and dribble." when they told LeBron that, like, that sent me over the edge. And it really, at that moment, it motivated me to do more in my community, to voice my voice more than ever, even in my role as a coach and where I sit. But for you, Olivia, Kayla, and Myles, if somebody told you to shut up and play field hockey, Olivia, Kaylin, shut up and play soccer, Myles, shut up and just play lacrosse, like, as athletes, how does that make you feel?
I feel like definitely, like, my big thing is, like, there's so much more to me than just my sport. And, like, I know that relates to so many student athletes. Like, a student athlete isn't defined by their sport. So I feel like hearing that would obviously, like, upset me, because it would make me feel that people only view me as an athlete, and, like, that's not what I want to do. So definitely, like, I feel like in my everyday life, I try to do a bunch of things outside of my sport just to be able to show, like, what I actually value, and, like, what I believe in and what I can do, because I don't want people to perceive me as just an athlete, just because I'm not defined by my sport. I may play my sport and dedicate a lot of time to it, but there's so much more to me, and I want the world to be able to see that.
Yep.
Yeah, you said it best, Liv. I think that there are certain circumstances in life where there are things that are more important than your sport, and I think that especially teams in season, right? And I just had this conversation with my teammates and my coaches, and you get so lost in training and playing games and trying to win and trying to figure all that stuff out, and you forget what's going on in the world. You stop watching the news, you stop learning, you stop educating yourself. And I think that a comment like "shut up and just dribble," I don't understand that, because yes, we are athletes, this is our priority, but what happens when we're not athletes? What happens when there are members on your team that are being directly affected by this? It's tough. It's tough. I understand that we came to Duke for one thing, and that is our sport. But I also understand that there are a lot of things that come above it, and I think everything that's going on right now comes above it. And I think that going back to your protest, Nolan, I'm sorry, but there were a lot of teams that had canceled practice that day. Our coaching staff, was unaware of the protest, and we were supposed to have practice that day. And after the protest was over, they were just like, this is, not only is it inappropriate, but it's insensitive, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, my comments on Shut Up and Dribble. Obviously, I'm a little older than you guys, so I remember, when that kind of came about. And LeBron quickly had that the mantra, more than an athlete, which has stuck, much more than Shut Up and Dribble has. But as an athlete, in the space, professionally, Shut Up and Dribble to me has been something that's kind of been the people in power's way of saying, kind of suppressing our voices. And a lot of people always say don't mix sports and politics, but if anyone has grown up playing sports, there are a lot of politics in sports, whether that's so-and-so's parent talking to the coach and getting their kid to the top or whatever it may be. But I think as the athletes began to be more educated on what's going on and become more familiar with things happening in the world politically, economically, whatever it may be, we do have a platform. And I think you see that across all pro sports, especially in the pandemic. I know that a lot of people were craving pro sports and wanted pro sports to be back on TV, and we wanted to be at the games and whatever. But a lot of those athletes were then given the platform, given the space, given the arena to say how they feel. You see the NBA did a lot of Black Lives Matter stuff, and had reform quote on the back of their jerseys on the court. In pro lacrosse, we did the same thing. I wore a Black Lives Matter patch on my jersey, BLM sleeve on my leg, wore a Black Lives Matter shirt when I warmed up. So, giving the platform, and, I also created custom cleats that, said ready for change and say their names on them. And I wore them, alternate between games. But, the Shut Up and Dribble is just people who are in power understand that athletes, we have a lot of power too. There's so many kids that look up to us. The things we say don't go unnoticed. We live our lives under a microscope, sometimes for better or sometimes for worse. But understanding that notion that we do live our lives under a microscope, and a lot of people have a lot of eyes on us. Things that we do are very much in the public eye. We use that opportunity, that moment, to make our presence felt on a sector that's much bigger than sports. For the most part, sports are, always going to be there. We won't. But if we don't use our chance to step up and say something, do something, and be something in a time where there are a lot of young kids who look up to us, need us, I think that we would fail ourselves as athletes and people who have built, this brand and platform for ourselves.
No, you absolutely. One thing I'll share during all this that's really been bothering me is when I look across Duke athletics, different sports teams, Instagrams, and I know I've seen Duke soccer, in their protests. I've seen them wearing the shirts, and I've seen volleyball. I mean, a lot of sports have done an amazing job. That's been great to see. But when you look in the comments, how many Duke fans, quote unquote Duke fans, to me they're not even really fans to me anymore. Like they shouldn't be. For any Duke basketball fan that sees this, first of all, saying Black Lives Matter is not political. It's not a political statement. So to say, I'm pulled this up, somebody said this is Duke basketball, not Duke politics. And they said that under a picture of us just saying vote. So I commented back. Like I'm the type of guy, if I see something I don't like, I comment, I don't care. So I said, so you're saying we can't say vote? Like, so you really want us to keep us in this bubble to where we can't say vote? In fact, because we put out a video, we didn't say who to vote for. We just are using our voices to let everybody else to exercise their right to vote. As athletes, we should all do that because, like you said, we all have a platform, especially Duke athletes. Duke athletes, we are visible. We're at one of the best schools in the country. So all the sports across the board have a huge platform. And I'm sure all of you have been vocal as far as telling people to vote, get out there, and just that right there, just to those fans, like, look, go find another team. Like this is Duke Uncut. So I'm gonna keep it all the way real. If anybody's watching this, if you don't support these student athletes that are on here, voicing their opinions. When you read these articles that I've read, every single one on Duke Uncut, like if you don't support them and what they feel, what they believe in, no matter what it is, find another team. Go like Carolina. We don't care. Because one thing I'm going to continue to advocate for is all of our student athletes to have a voice.
Absolutely.
Have a voice. So that gets me to my next question. And you touched on it a little bit already, Myles, but student athletes today have the biggest platform as far as social media. How do y'all feel like student athletes can more utilize that, take advantage of it, and just get out there and make their voices heard via social media?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that I think that being authentic is one thing that I really find that goes a long way. I know that in a time like this, people want to help, and sometimes they may do things that aren't characteristic of them. I encourage athletes, if you do want to speak out, you do feel strongly about what's going on, and you feel that you want to be on the good side of things and say something and do something that's visibly apparent that you are standing with the greater community and everyone being together. I think you should educate yourself first. One, just everybody has friends of all different backgrounds, all different religions and cultures. Start to understand who they are, why they are the way they are, what led them to this point, their upbringing, their family, all that stuff. So when you are ready to say something, you are well versed in what it is that you want, how you want to come across. Because a lot of people do have these big platforms and they'll act out of emotion and they'll say things that may backfire. But for the most part, I do encourage all athletes of all sports, big platform, small platform, any platform, to educate yourself, by using your friends, because in that way you're able to really feel what it is that they feel, understand what they feel, then put it into your own words, and you're able to deliver a heartfelt message or a powerful statement that will go a long way.
Yeah, I'm gonna go off that. I think educating yourself is so important. And I know, and I get it, as athletes, you have so much going on. You have competition, you have school, and you get caught up. But I think that taking time to really understand what's going on in the world, how you can impact not only yourself, but others, I think is huge. And it's funny, I literally just posted on my story like an hour ago, and it was a quote by Dawn Staley, and she said, you can survive not being liked for saying something that's right. And I think it's so important for athletes in general, and especially Duke athletes, to speak up. I think that we don't understand, well, especially me, I'm on Duke women's soccer. I think a Duke basketball, a Duke men's lacrosse, I think a Duke football even have an even bigger platform. But I don't think that us as athletes realize sometimes how much we can influence people, and also how much people look up to us. I bet you get a ton of DMs every day, Myles, of some little kid being like, what, dude, like I look up to you, like I watch you all the time, you're my inspiration, I want to be just like you. If they see you or any other Duke athlete speaking out against social injustice, speaking out about what's right, voting, it goes such a long way. And honestly, like when we were younger, when I was 12, I don't think social media was this big. So it's encouraging to see such young children reaching out and saying these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like kind of just like going off of both those points, like I think like one of the most important things is just like being authentic and being vulnerable. Because like we have this huge platform, like social media reaches so many people like in such like a convenient way. And I think really like if we want to share our voices, like you have to be like open and honest, like not just like jumping on a bandwagon. But I think too, like that's like really like the importance of just like educating ourselves and educating each other, because like I've noticed over the past few months, like how much we are able to influence like teammates, the rest of the Duke community, the rest of the world. And I think really just like that's the importance of like having those conversations and just truly like educating yourself and like like I have like a teammate who had a picture taken at a protest and it reached millions of people. And like, it was insane just to see how many people saw that and like how powerful that message was. So I think that was really like just eye-opening to me. And I'm sure like many other people just understand like how far like one picture, one message, anything, one post on Instagram can just reach so many different people. And I think that's just really important.
Yeah, no, it is. Like when I was in school, I guess my senior, the only thing I had was Twitter. So Twitter was just, I guess Twitter got popular like my junior year. Instagram came about, I think, really when I was graduating. So I guess I'm telling my age a little bit. Nah, not really. Social media just grew. It grew quick. It grew quick. I like where we're at with social media. Community, y'all touched on it a little bit, but is there stuff here in Durham that you wish y'all could do more as a team, individually? Myles, when you were here, is there more stuff that you wish you could have did to connect with the community a little more? I mean, Duke student athletes, I look at all of you as leaders. Y'all want to lead, y'all are more than athletes. So is there more stuff that y'all want to be doing or can be doing that you would want to get involved with?
Yeah, absolutely. COVID really, really sucks, right? It really limits a lot of things that we can do. The one thing that me and my team did was we came up over quarantine. We came up with, I think it was like a 25-page document, right? And it had a list of actions, things that we can actually do to bring about change, right? Because everyone's like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and it's all talk, but it's no action. So we made a decision. Let's plan this out. Let's write down exactly what we need to do. Do we need to? Let's go to a predominantly Black school, right? That is underprivileged, in a predominantly Black neighborhood, and let's go there. Whether we're reading to them, whether we're volunteering, whether we're playing soccer with them, that's something we want to do. We wanted to have a clinic for girls. We wanted to have, we were trying to figure out the logistics. Obviously, it's kind of hard, but we wanted to kind of target predominantly Black and Hispanic communities and say, hey, this is a free clinic. Come play, come whatever. So you get this experience, right? It's a bottom up process. If we can encourage little girls and boys too, this is a Duke experience. We want to create a community where we are aware of what's going on and that we want to help. Now, again, COVID really just changed a lot of those plans. So a lot of them, we were unable to follow through on them, just with protocol, and things aren't getting better. So, but yeah, I think it's really important. And I do wish, and I hope for the future when things start to clear up and get better, that we can get more involved, because I think it's so important. And in the past, I don't think we have done it enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like that's like, it's funny that you say that, just because like our team literally talked about the exact same thing, like going to like going to a neighborhood, going to like an underprivileged school, and just like we talked about like, let's play fit hockey with them, like let's show them like what our sport's about, and like free clinic, we'll provide everything, and just like show them that like we're a community and we want to share our sport with them. And definitely like it's been hard with COVID. And I think that kind of ties back into just like the act of wanting to do that, ties back with like, we are bigger than our sport. Like, yes, we play our sport, but we also want to share our sport, and also like share our resources and show our support for these like underprivileged communities. So I feel like definitely right now, like it's hard with COVID, and like that's why I think social media is really important. Just like sharing our words, like sharing like what we stand by, and just like how we want to present ourselves. But definitely in the future, I feel like we could do more, and there's always like room to grow. Like I feel like it's never enough. Like we can't settle, and there's always just room to do more. So hoping to do that in the future after COVID.
Yeah, I think the cool part about some of the stuff that I've done, as soon as I had left college, definitely made me realize that, there was definitely ample amount of time to do stuff while I was in college. Now I do various different things. I sit on the board of Harlem Lacrosse, which is an inner city program for, kids in New York. They provide, a bunch of different resources for kids to either go to school, private schools, or, grants to go to college, and just provide, extracurricular activities, through sport of lacrosse. I'll sit on the board at Charm City Lacrosse, who does the same thing, but for kids in Baltimore. And, with all that time that I spend, doing those, various different things, I wish I did do more when I was, in college, and especially for the Duke community, because I feel like the Duke community has changed so much, especially Durham. Just when you look at Durham from when Nolan was in school to when I was in school to what it looks like now, it looks vastly different. Whenever I come back to school, sometimes we'll stay down. I stay downtown when I'm there for ESPN, and we would never stay downtown, when I was in school. But, I think that there's just so many opportunities to do something, and there are plenty of resources, at the university. They could definitely reach out to, any organization, any school that that may need some type of inspiration. I think the biggest piece about being an athlete is that you can't, undermine the amount of inspiration you guys do have as athletes. We go through school every day, just walking around, looking at the beautiful chapel, looking at campus. It's all, beautiful and gorgeous. There are so many kids that if, they had a Duke t-shirt from you, it would change their life. And while that's something so minuscule, our time is very valuable to us, but it's also, very valuable to other people, especially people who don't get to spend their time the same way we do. People that, wake up and, they're trying to figure out, what their day is going to be like and how they're going to accomplish the things that they want to accomplish by the end of the day. And, we are so blessed to wake up every day and understand that, hey, look, we get to go to class, we get to go to practice, we're at this beautiful university, and there are people who would love to be in our shoes. So the best thing we could do is allocate our time. That's one thing I realized, that, while, small seconds, minutes, maybe an hour of our time is, nothing to us, it does go a really long way. And no matter how you spend that, if you spend that time helping, inspiring, just uplifting people, especially, in a community that really needs it at the moment, that does go a long way. And that's huge. That transcends, someone's life from, feeling they may be helpless and, don't know what their direction is, to, hey, I met Caitlin and she inspired me. And now, I picked up soccer. Soccer brought me from A to B. And now, I'm playing soccer in college. My parents never could afford college. And it's just like the small things that, we do for other people that is, so inspiring, that, I didn't really know when I was in college, because, what did I know? I was just trying to score a few goals, get my homework done, and, hang out with my friends. But, the small time that I do spend outside of, training, building different things, as a pro athlete now, all the small, minutes, hours that I've spent, people still remember that stuff. I have kids who reach out to me and say, hey man, you came to Harlem one time, and, I was a kid, it was my third day there. I didn't know anything about lacrosse. I just got equipment that you donated to the program. I still have that equipment. I still, look at that equipment before I go play lacrosse in college now. So like, it's crazy how, small you may feel like your influence is, and it's actually much, much bigger and, long lasting, and has longevity with these people that we inspire. So, I think time is the biggest thing for us. We have a lot of it, and the more you give of it, I think the better off the world will be.
Yeah, no, that's great stuff. That's great stuff, Myles. Appreciate y'all for all your thoughts on that. And one thing I'll add to that is, if you can put a smile on one kid's face, that right there is a win, because you could change that one kid's life. I've been in position in the NBA to obviously touch a lot of kids, but there's been times where I've been in the grocery store and I meet one kid that's like, damn, you're Nolan Smith, like, and I give him an autograph and a high five and a couple words of encouragement. That kid and the mom just looks back and goes, Thank you. Like that, just that right there tells me like the impact that we can have on a young child's life. And like y'all said, here in Durham, I've been here long enough. There's so many kids in the South Side, East Durham, West Durham, that if y'all connect with them, like Myles said, y'all gave them a Duke shirt, y'all gonna change their lives. And I'm not talking about Durham Academy. Durham Academy, they good.
They're
they,
fine. They're more than fine.
they come to Duke games. Their parents are Iron Dukes. They're gonna be all right. We all said, the inner city kids, when they see y'all, I mean, Myles is doing amazing stuff. When they see you two as college athletes, like one might pick up a field hockey stick and get to college just because they meet you, Olivia, like a soccer ball like you, Kaylin. Like they don't have that stuff either. I mean, I've done some community events. They don't have soccer balls. They don't have basketballs. I took some balls over there about a month ago, a couple weeks ago, and just left them out there. I ended up seeing a kid, and he was like, "I can keep it." I was like, "Yeah," and he ran away. He's like, "Oh, my mom's not gonna believe this." That stuff goes a long way, and we all have that platform to impact. And like Myles said, it doesn't matter how small it is or how big it is. If it's one kid that we get to touch their lives as student athletes, come on, that's God's work to me. That's what I call it. That's God's work. And that's big time work that we all have the platform to do and touch lives. So that brings me to my last question I want to address tonight before we end this episode. NLI. The NLI is hopefully going to get passed by July, hopefully sooner. Basically, name, image, and likeness is what is going to get passed. And basically, student athletes will be able to profit off of their name, image, and likeness. I think that's in a nutshell. They're still ironing out the rules, but they're basically saying, like, if a player wanted to have a camp off site, that they can do that. You know, if they want to do babysitting and use their name, you know, they can do that. They can use their name as student athletes to make a profit.
Yeah, I think that's huge. You know, for me, one thing I did when I graduated college, you know, like you guys, you know, you get a ton of Duke stuff, you know, more gear you know what to do with. So when I first graduated college, funny story, we had these chrome helmets with, you know, we had the chapel on the back. It was sick. Like it was the best.
I remember those.
The best helmet I've ever seen. We played Harvard. We didn't play too well. Coach put him back in the bag and put him in the equipment room. Jay Bissett was holding him down for us. And then, you know, we got this at the end of the year, and I knew how many people really wanted that helmet. So I sold a bunch of my gear, and I had to wait until, you know, I was, you know, out of college to do that. And, you know, I'm not too mad about the timing of that. But when I sold all that gear, I actually donated all that money to the organization that I now sit on the board for. So, you know, with that being said, you know, I did get a lot of traction. You know, social media was just starting to, you know, take off, and, you know, we were playing on ESPNU and ESPN for, you know, a handful of games, especially after having a couple of successful seasons. My junior and senior year, we played on TV probably every other weekend, if not every weekend. And, you know, I saw the social media growth, and I saw, you know, the platform I had started to grow. You know, had I had the opportunity to utilize that and, you know, monetize that, I definitely would have, you know, tried to do my best to help the community. You know, I love Durham. You know, Duke definitely changed my life. And, you know, if I could do anything to change a couple people's lives around the university and connect Duke to Durham, I definitely would have. And I think a lot of the athletes now are in a great position now because, you know, with that passing, you have the opportunity to do more than just, you know, get people together and talk. It can be, you know, getting a bunch of student athletes together and raising money, you know, through your likeness, through your image, using your name, and then putting, you know, money to an organization. You know, then you guys have funds to then put together all those things that you guys say you guys want to do as a team. Now you have the, you know, the funds to, you know, allocate that to, hey, we want to buy 10 dozen bagels and go hand them out to, you know, people in the community. Hey, we want to get together, you know, a soup kitchen or whatever it may be. I know there's a lot of things go on campus like that, but, you know, once it's run by the athletes, and you guys can get together and collaborate on, what it is and how it is you guys want to help the community, I think it goes a lot further than, the university putting you guys together and making you guys do whatever it is that they want to do. You guys can get together now and, put your brains together. You guys are all very, very smart, intelligent, people, and you guys, are multifaceted. You guys can get together and put your money together and put, your ideas together to do something really special. That wasn't a luxury that I had, but, if I did, that would have been something that I would really had, put a lot of time to. I think that would have been really special for sure.
Yeah, I think like kind of just going off of that. Like I think it's super cool. Like, yes, like we work super hard, like having like the right to like profit off of like our name, image, and likeness is just like awesome, because like we worked hard to get here, and like I don't want to say we own it, but like it's our work. And definitely kind of like what you said, Myles, I feel like if it were like me personally, like just like profiting like off of that, like I would want to pay it forward, just because I was so fortunate to have this opportunity. But I would want to I want to give someone else that opportunity. So I feel like anything that I were like any monetary value on me and my sport, I would definitely want to pay it back to the community and just share my experiences with other people, and hopefully inspire them to try to follow in my footsteps, other athletes' footsteps, and hopefully just provide for them and provide support for them to hopefully work for this one day. So basically, I was fortunate enough, and I want to give it to someone else.
Yeah, I agree. I honestly, I haven't, the question something says like, I haven't even thought about what that means for me, for other athletes coming to Duke, at Duke, that still have a couple years left, I think that I would be the same way. I think I would want to give back. But I also think that I had never thought about it, because me being an athlete at Duke, it was always not the fact that we can profit off of it is great. But I get satisfaction out of just being on this team and having little girls look up to me and saying, hey, like I want to be like you. And now that there aren't as many restrictions, and now we can kind of do a lot more than what we've been able to do, I think is awesome. I think is really awesome. And we're going to get even more attention, and even more little boys and girls who are going to just eat up anything and everything that we do, anything, any camp, clinic. If we want to do a fundraiser, we're just going to get so many more people on board with it and wanting to get involved. And I think that's all you can ask for. And I think that's awesome.
I'm excited for all student athletes to take advantage of it for sure. And I can tell both of you are going to have great ideas on Duke's campus to do some great things. So before we finish, I'm going to finish with one question for the OG, Myles, the Duke grad. Just real quick, give us your favorite Duke memory off the field.
Duke memory off the field. I guess I'll go with my recruiting visit. I was fortunate enough to be in a position where, I was highly recruited. And I was a junior in college. I don't know, junior high school. And I told Coach Shanowski, this is my last round of visits before, I was going to, commit. And I had visited Duke, like kind of on the way out from visiting North Carolina. I called Coach Caputo. I was like, hey, listen, I'm about to head to the airport. My flight's in a few hours. I want to stop by Duke just to say what's up, and I'm going to go. Stop by, hung out, looked around the campus for 20 minutes, left. And I come back on my on a visit. I remember looking around campus. Coach D, took me around. I saw all the beautiful buildings. I was in awe, obviously. He took me to one of the Duke basketball games. Obviously, as a former basketball player, I got the chills being in there, and just every time I actually been in there, even when I was at school, I still got the chills just from just being in the arena and seeing what that's like and knowing what it's like to be, on the court playing in front of that many people. And then, usually a lot of kids commit over the phone. Hey, coach, had a great time there, yada, yada, whatever. So I called Coach Janowski and I was like, "Hey, Coach, I want to talk to you before I leave. My flight's in a few hours. Are you around?" Remember, Coach Janowski said he was like in bed or whatever, so he popped up, got dressed, drove over to the office, and I drove over there before I left. And I think he had called all the other coaches and told them I was, coming to the office and talk to him before leaving. So all the other coaches were standing behind the door with their ear to the door. And I sat down in the chair, and it was very awkward because, Coach Janowski's trying to figure out why I'm here. He probably thought that I, got in trouble or something on campus. I don't know what he thought. So I'm sitting in the chair, and I was like, "Coach, I've been to every university that I'm interested in, but I just want to let you know that I want to be a Duke Blue Devil, and this is my verbal commitment to you." And I think he took him like 2 seconds to register what I was saying. And then after that, he popped up, gave me a big hug, and all the other coaches came through the door as they were listening and heard me say that. And all three of them hugged me. And that's how I knew that I was going to have a great and successful career at Duke University. And, it's changed my life ever since.
Man, that you did. Appreciate you sharing that, brother.
No problem.
So, Myles, keep doing your thing on and off the field, man. Proud of you. Always been a huge fan of yours. Olivia, Kaylin, keep doing y'all thing. I wish I could come watch y'all play, but campus COVID rules, they're not even allowing us to do that. But I'm watching y'all from afar. Keep being great. Big things in store for both of y'all. And to everybody watching, this is the end of the first episode of Bridging Blue Devils on Duke Uncut. We out. Thank y'all for a great conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nolan.
That was great. Thank you so much, guys. It was honestly perfect. Great.
Sweet.
A perfect way to kick off the series, and just exactly what Uncut's for, is to sort of be candid and talk and have that voice that sometimes we felt like some people didn't have. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that was incredible, guys. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to put this out there for people and to give you guys this space to talk. It's just a blessing.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. This was awesome.
Thank you.